We're back. Alright, Godot. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Mr. Godot! This is what you said yesterday.
Thank you.
My eyesight's pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? I thought you could see my underwear and everything. I just assumed so. I went through all that trouble
Aww.
picking out my best undies.
This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented.
This lantern? There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood!
Nonsense. This lantern, it screams whistle.
Mr. Godot.
Oh.
Just admit it. There are certainly colors you can't see. Correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before. During the poisoning case at Tribulations.
This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-covered stain that smeared all over the apron.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain.
You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup. That's because it was red.
It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, you're admitting it? Are you admitting that you couldn't see the red writing on the lantern?
Hey, Gramps, did you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea.
Rubble, 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 rubble.
I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the moidable. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Dork. The defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Lee Dunem, also known as Miss Misty Fay.
It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps.
I guess you won't be able to read it because it'll be on white.
Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into a killer? Besides, it's not like my name that's written there.
I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red.
This is Rich. Do go on, Wright.
The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow?
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, You said it yourself. If they wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't they just take that area? Ah! Could it be?
Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that they happened to seep in the snow. And so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure where the blood landed, so he removed the whole area.
Objection. It's more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark.
Not a chance. The torches were all lit. They would have been able to see fine.
It seems that once again, this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. However, can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Rubble.
Wait! Just a minute!
Mamiya!
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed up.
Objection!
Maya. You can't testify something like that.
What? What do you mean? It may not look like it, but eek!
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We've established that magic exists. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dolly of her thorn.
Oh, that's right. Magic.
But please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya? Do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her.
Nicely done, Wright.
Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me as it were. But that little girl was there at the inner temple too.
I love how the judge was earlier. I was gonna say add to his what he was saying there was,
I can't believe it, although this would make for about the third prosecutor who was actually the murderer in a trial in this courtroom.
Oh God.
Okay.
Phoenix Wright.
after the incident. It's weird not having the controller. I can't put in those little things.
Sorry.
Pearlie was also stuck at the inner temple side at night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prepped room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up.
Who is this Pearlie?
That's my little cousin with the large breasts, Pearl Fay.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie She would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath.
The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot!
Let's just move on to the cross-examination. The defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started. Alright, we'll cross-examine after the incident, after this. Is that the first time that Godot has ever said... I guess we can keep going. It's only been 11 minutes.
Okay.
Now we'll keep going. But is that the first time Godot has ever referred to the prosecution as we? Said, we believe her. In a legion-like way. That's weird.
I don't know, maybe.
After the incident. Alright, let's do this. Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side. So, where did you think Pearl slept that night?
In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place?
It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that
She knew that the spiritual training was about to undergo was very intense.
Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of a Lidu Nim.
The next morning, she looked around and couldn't find anyone.
Hold it.
She searched the entire inner temple side, end to end?
Well, you see, Perry gets pretty scared when she's alone. And there weren't many places to look. She says that even when she went back in for several times.
The inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and the spare prep room.
And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it.
There was a storage shack, too. Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined the storage shack all that carefully?
Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
The next day when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room.
Pearls didn't hear a sound of them working on the bridge?
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go wait at the foot of the bridge.
Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night. She couldn't sleep and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl, all alone like that.
Well, we know she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne was very busy battling with a trick lock.
She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have thrown herself to Pearls.
What happened after the bridge was finally fixed?
That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple at the first time.
So, it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot.
That's funny. I am imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you...
Oh. Who said this? What's he doing an impression of?
I think
Oh,
Godot.
that was the judge. What? What you heard for sure? That's simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touche, Mr. Wright. Oh well, what do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I would have never visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains, I think I'll pass.
So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh?
You went to say something, Trite?
In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right?
Yes, then Mr. Godot. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up.
Hold it.
He cheered her up.
That's what Pearly said. She said she was very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
Is that Gumshoe?
Yeah, I think
That sounds
Gumshoe
more like
cheered her
Gumshoe.
up.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Cut it out. You're making me blush.
This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. If Pearly had been cheered up by Gumshoe, she would have said Gumshoe. She wouldn't come
Yeah,
to
right?
Maya and say, an older guy cheered me up.
She is kind of familiar with Gumshoe.
Unless
Mr.
Maya's lying
Scruffy.
to make it seem like, yeah, she would have said Mr. Scruffy.
Yeah.
The truth is there aren't many places. Look on the Inner Temple side.
Yeah, Butts also could have, but Butts wouldn't have made it across, so it had to be Gumshoe.
The policemen were all busy going over the gardens with a fine-tooth comb. So I decided to carry out an investigation my own way. Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts with my own way, judgy style.
Maybe I should ask some questions. Phoenix style! Cheering Pearls up. So you cheered Pearls up?
When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked was about her cousin Maya Faye.
Really?
The bridge had burned down, and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat. Even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there, she asked about you before she said anything about herself.
Barely.
I noticed you weren't anywhere in the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find her to tell me that. So I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth.
You shouldn't give kids coffee.
Pearly would be crazy on coffee.
What a sweet story.
He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? Probably he likes coffee, Phoenix. There's only one thing of importance there. Here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been in the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Ali Dunem.
Barely was also.
Okay,
Okay.
so there was one we could also press
right.
that again. Yeah, I would say that's more of the thing that's bewildering.
What?
Dumpling says he carries around milk and sugar. Godot's investigation. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything?
It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Wright. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles.
The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty of the training hall.
Beauty?
Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Western tastes. Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy?
So from there, you headed to the prep room.
Wait a sec. What did Godot just say now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? Alright, so... Godot said that he discovered
He was in the inner temple.
the portrait of Misty Faye covered in gravy.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that that was Misty Faye at the time. He wasn't supposed to know that, right? Or is that what's the weird thing? Wait, when did
Isn't it
Pearly
the fact?
when did Pearly spread gravy on it?
Oh. In the morning
Let's
when
hear him
she
say that
woke up.
again. The beauty of the training hall.
It's the beauty in the training hall.
In the training hall. Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Let me look at that evidence.
Yeah, you can't see her.
Yeah, so the only way he could have known is if he was there before it got covered. That's the
Good
only way he
job.
could know it was Misty Faye.
Yeah.
Because I originally, in my mind's eye, I thought her face was still visible.
I kind of thought, like, the top sort of part of
Yeah.
her head was visible.
I could have sworn that, in fact, but
Maybe it's just from this
I guess
image.
it's just because we can remember it not being obscured. So we remember the picture of the face.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Alright,
Yeah,
so
dude.
that's it.
Yeah.
But, how do you present that? Where do you present that?
The last... Wait, oh yeah. Go to... For the first time.
I'm gonna save.
Probably a safe thing to do to save.
Yeah. I have this feeling that this is getting ahead, though. Alright. Objection! Sweet. We'll be back after this as we pin him against the wall for the final time.
Maybe.